Hey guys, it's Brad again. This is our next video in our Investor Tactics series, and I am glad you decided to watch this, and I hope you get a lot of value out of it. The next type of investor tactic you're going to see is the bad listener. The bad listener, okay? So the bad listener is just what it is. He doesn't listen to you. He doesn't listen to your needs and what your problem is, and he doesn't try to fix your problem. At the end of the day, all he cares about is what dollar am I going to give you for your house, and I'm going to buy your house, and nothing less. I would encourage you, when you're dealing with an investor that you're looking to sell your house, I would highly encourage you to understand if they're listening to your needs. Whenever you call us on the phone, we're going to do a little bit of a needs assessment and try to understand your needs in the transaction. At the end of the day, right, it's about buying and selling a house, but it's not always just about buying and selling a house. There's a lot of other needs that you maybe you need some time to move. Maybe you don't have enough money for a moving truck. Maybe your brother needs some money, or maybe you're going to be on vacation the week of the closing and you really need to close it early. Well, guess what? We can do a remote closing, and we can send somebody to you, and you can sign the paperwork while you're at the beach, and you get your money and you get to enjoy vacation at the same time. We can do that, right? So we do a needs assessment to make sure that we're the right fit for one another, okay? We make sure that we're the right fit for you, or you're the right fit for us, and that this transaction is going to work and it's going to be a win-win for everybody. If we don't think that this transaction is in your best interest, we're going to let you know. We're going to tell you, like, I don't think you're the right fit for us. You probably should call someone else, or you should probably list your house with a realtor, because we're just probably not the right fit for you. You can get a lot more money for it if you list it with a realtor. I know you don't want to go through that hassle, but you'll get a lot more money for it if you just list it on the market with a realtor. It's going to be a little bit more of a headache to deal with, but we think that that's the best fit for you. But we're only going to tell you that after we've listened to your needs and understanding what your situation is and what the different variables are. And there's a lot of variables involved in selling a house, and we're going to ask you all those questions and figure out whether this is the right fit for you. So there's a lot of investors out there that are bad listeners. You're going to tell them X, Y, and Z. I'll give you a great story. We bought a house from a couple last month, and it was an inherited house. The guy inherited that. The guy actually grew up in this house. His father had passed, and then his mother passed, and he was the executor of both estates. And they sold us this house because it was really far away from, he had since moved up to the North Atlanta suburbs, and this house was down south of Atlanta. It was just a long drive for them to deal with, and there was a lot of stuff in the house, and they were having to go through all this stuff and clean out and throw away all this stuff. So we came in, and they had some other investors look at the house, and we made them an offer. And our offer was not only monetarily, what they were looking for. It was, it was within a ballpark. They were wanting a little bit more, but we just couldn't do that. So we negotiated that price a little bit. But another thing we did is we listened to them. And one of the things we discovered was that this drive for them to have to drive down here and deal with this house was a pain in the butt. So you know how we solved that problem? We said, all right, you're here today and tomorrow and you're cleaning stuff out. I want you to get everything out of the house that you want to keep, and anything left in the house that you don't want, that you were planning on throwing away or donating to charity or whatever, you just leave it here. So take the keepsakes from your family that you want to keep, and then leave the rest, and we'll take care of it. We'll handle the rest of it. We're going to bring in a company here to clean the house out anyways. If it's one more dumpster load of stuff to throw it away, so be it. And that's what we do. So we listened to them, and they needed... There was a lot of pain there in terms of having to drive an hour. I mean, as y'all know, Atlanta traffic is ridiculous. Drive sometimes an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to this house just to deal with it. And the air conditioning was broken in this house, and this was July, and it's hot. They're having to deal with that. So we took that burden off their back. What we also did is we said, hey, guess what? Our closing attorney that we use is close to your new house. So you don't have to drive all the way back down here to go to closing. And we'll close when you want to. And you know what happened on that transaction? I was going on vacation, and I made sure I closed that transaction out before I left for vacation, because we originally set the closing date for the next week, and I wasn't going to be here that week, so I went ahead and closed on it before I went on vacation. So we listened there. We gave them what they wanted, what they asked for. We listened, and they were more than grateful. And this other investor that they were working with had offered them a little bit less than what we had, and then he came back and said, hey, I'll offer you more money than what they did. And then he said, do you guys need some money to move, and do you need this, and I'll give you some more money, and we'll I'll send some money to your Cash App, and blah blah blah. They didn't need the money. This transaction to them was not about the money. It was about the headache of dealing with this house that was an hour and a half away from them, that they didn't want to mess with. They didn't want to clean it out, and that was the problem. It wasn't about the money, because the money was just, they were just going to go stick it in their savings account, and it was just going to sit there. So it wasn't about the money. So you got to make sure that investor that you're dealing with is listening to you. Are they listening to your needs, and are they addressing your needs, and not just trying to sell you on how they're the greatest company in the world and they close cash or they pay cash and close fast. Every investor out there pays cash and closes fast. We all do it. That's not our unique selling proposition. So make sure they're listening to you. Thanks for joining the video, guys. Have a good one.